across the street. Nets here in Los Angeles take on the Lakers. Picking up early first quarter. This is what the people came to see. LeBron James up top. Anthony Davis, 26 points, 12 boards. Lakers out to the early lead. Under 6 minutes left in the first. Davis to James this time. And James with the big finish. Lakers out to an 11-point lead. Second quarter. Lakers up 7. LeBron from way out there, 24 points, 11 boards. Lakers with a 6-point lead going into halftime. But then in the third quarter, the Nets just put it on LA. Mikal Bridges for 3. Nets take the lead. Under 3 minutes left in the third. They just could not stop Cam Thomas. 3 and the foul. Nets up 12 after Thomas missed the free throw, but that was okay because he had 3 more with James out there guarding him. He had 33 points off the bench, and the Nets going to win it 130 to 112 after losing their previous 6 on the road.
We can't feel sorry for ourselves and make excuses. We saw the same people that put together that first half, the same ones that allowed that second half, and we just have to decide which team we're going to be. We've seen how dominant we can be when we've done it right and we're healthy, and we've seen, when we haven't done it so right, and we got dealing with different body issues, health issues, but at the end of the day, you suit up, you got to come out there and compete, and compete as a unit. And that second half wasn't reflective of that. It's over for the excuses, man.
Your mind from the second on?
Cam Thomas. Our defense, I think we was up, like you said, 37, 28, or 29, or whatever it was. And in the second quarter, he, put the pressure on us, and all the way into halftime, we still was kind of close in the third quarter. We got 38 points. We're not going to win like that.
What's the challenge with stopping? And sometimes it is players, to your point, but when a team catches momentum?
It's hard because then everybody's in a rhythm. I thought we were a step slow at times, getting to their shooters. They shot the ball well. Then they got into the paint as well. They just broke us down all games, especially in that second half.
To Ali's point, obviously a confident team with rhythm can look completely different than a team that doesn't have that. In your experience, are there tricks or are there shifts that you can go to try to halt that?
We tried different looks. We went zone, for some possessions they gave us some good looks. As far as getting stops, but at the end of the day, they was able to get into a rhythm. And like I said, shot the ball extremely well from the perimeter, and then like I said, Cam Thomas had it going all night.
Darvin felt like, or he told us that he said that perhaps your guys' missing shots affected your energy on the other end. Is that kind of a natural thing that can happen to a basketball team?
No, I thought us not getting stops affected our energy. Personally, we just, you can't trade baskets, or when we miss, we're not getting no stops. We got to get stops, and we weren't getting stops. Like I said, we gave up 38 in that third.
You guys missed quite a few shots in the paint, especially in that second half. Just could you feel guys were trying to press it, trying to get it all back, just on one shot in one moment during some of those looks?
No. When you're trying to get it all back, that's when you're shooting a bunch of jump shots. We was living in the paint. We just missing bunnies.
Your confidence level of just letting this one go and moving forward, or having a hangover, how do you break that up and make sure this doesn't carry over to another game?
Watch NFL playoffs tomorrow. That's what I'll do.
Me too.
Me 3.
James and Anthony Davis each had over 15 points in the first half, combined to score 33 points while shooting 72% from the field. But in the second half, James and Davis went just 5 for 17, with James recording his 5th worst.
So maybe, and I know that's not the strong answer that you'd like to hear, and the Lakers would like to hear a stronger answer. Darvin Ham has been all over the place, trying like crazy, guys, to figure out a way to have this team be competitive offensively. I don't think I've ever seen a team that's a competitive team like the Lakers get boat raced in the first quarter as much as they have this year. And his latest move is to put his 2 scoring guards, Austin Reaves and D'Angelo Russell, into the starting lineup. This is how they started the season, and it was a disaster. They were getting blown out every first quarter, and basically he was forced to break Austin Reaves and D'Angelo Russell up. Well, over these last few games, D'Angelo Russell has come back to life. And this is really a core issue with the Lakers. One of the biggest things that's important with their offense, which is the biggest challenge on the whole roster, is that they are really reliant on D'Angelo Russell to deliver for them. And he is a high variance player in good times. Throughout his career, he can drop 35, he can drop 5. It's all over the place. For the last month, even more, he's been cold. So much so that he got taken out of the starting lineup and was basically, I don't want to make an assumption, but was basically brooding, pouting about it. He also had an injury in there and not talking to the media and hearing his name in trade talks. And then they had to put him back in the starting lineup 3 games ago because of another injury, this one to Cam Reddish, and he's been hot. And he's been awesome. And all of a sudden, Anthony Davis has 25 assists in 3 games, the most in his career. Yeah, he's passing the ball. Anthony Davis is having an excellent season. But it's because he's passing the ball to a guy who's making the shots. So, yeah, Stephen A., when the Lakers are at their top offensively, when D'Angelo Russell is hitting shots, of course they are a formidable team. But you just can't trust him from one week to the next, which is one of the reasons he's been involved in trade talks.
Absolutely. That's the problem. And I've been saying that for weeks. Wendy, you know I've been saying that for weeks. I'm not blaming it. First of all, Anthony Davis is playing like an MVP candidate. He's playing like a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. He's been lights out. Major props to him. And his durability hasn't been a question mark because he's played damn near every game. He's only missed a few games this year. So give love and credit to Anthony Davis where it's due. LeBron is LeBron. And I don't care when he has an off night or whatever. The man is 39 years of age in his 21st season. He's still averaging better than 25 a game. He's still LeBron. And so for me, when you know that you can rely on those two brothers to do what they are doing, it comes down to you simply doing your damn job, which is why I said, and I announced on national television, if I'm Jeannie Buss, if I'm Rob Pelinka, I grab some of these brothers, I take them in the car around Los Angeles. I make sure the weather's nice, sunshine is not gray skies, clear skies, sun is shining and what have you, and be like, listen, how many places in America is like this? You want to stay here? Or you want to go back to Minnesota? You want to go someplace else? Because we ain't going to tolerate this. You got to do something. Now, it's not an accident that 8 of D'Angelo Russell's team-high 29 points came off of passes from Anthony Davis, like you pointed out. When Anthony Davis gives him the ball, it ain't like Anthony Davis just started giving him the ball. He's been giving him the ball. It's just that he wasn't making shots. He was missing shots. When D'Angelo Russell is making shots, that makes their offense that much more potent and formidable. Why? Because it freed things up a little bit more for LeBron James, for Anthony Davis. They can't, like LeBron said, they can't double. It's quickly on Anthony Davis when you got D'Angelo Russell to worry about if he's kicking the ball out to him. By the way, let's get Austin Reaves more involved in the activities. He played summer ball this year, obviously came into this season, didn't start off strong. It wasn't just D'Angelo Russell that wasn't getting it done. It was Austin Reaves who wasn't getting it done either. We have to literally call it like it is from the standpoint that if D'Angelo Russell and Austin Reaves play up to their potential, the Lakers could go on a run and could even go to a conference finals. Without those two doing what they got to do, the Lakers would be lucky to make the play-in. This is not a franchise that's about LeBron James and Anthony Davis. They've shown you what they can do and are willing to do. It's the other guys that have to step up. And 2 of those key guys are Austin Reaves and D'Angelo Russell. And by the way, you traded Rob Pelinka. You didn't trade, but you acquired Gabe Vincent in the offseason. I don't know if you should have let go of Schrader. Because guess what? Dennis Schrader, when he was on the team last year, I mean, this dude was an Energizer bunny. He came off the bench. He could make shots. He was clutch. He could make free throws. He had moxie. He was tough. I would not have let him go. I would have found a way to keep him and run it back again. The fact that they don't have him and they got a Gabe Vincent who can ball but clearly has been injured and hasn't really played this year has really compromised their success as well.
Wendy, let me ask you this. Big trade yesterday. What impact do you think the Pacers acquiring Pascal Siakam will have in the East?
Well, look, Pascal Siakam and Tyrese Halliburton are going to fall in love with playing with each other because Siakam is a great transition up-tempo player, and nobody is better in transition than Halliburton, and nobody runs more almost in the NBA than the Pacers. You're going to start seeing highlights immediately, and they're a serious contender to be the number 4 seed, I think. You look how tightly packed the East is. I think they've taken a major step forward. From a league perspective, though, Molly, I think the big takeaway from this is who did not get Siakam. Now, I think the Pacers were in the driver's seat on this all the way, and I think primarily because they have shown an interest in giving Siakam a max contract in the offseason, and I'm not sure that was the case everywhere else, and that made him a more valuable trade piece.
It
but
wasn't.
if you look at a team like the Philadelphia 76ers, that's a team that, had the assets to trade for Siakam. And you add Siakam to the 76ers, especially if they don't touch their core, that's a hugely impactful move. I don't think the Warriors have gotten to the point where they're ready to make that type of move, but Siakam and the Warriors did make some sense. And so, and it's important to realize they made this deal 3 weeks before the deadline. And there's a number of different reasons for that. I think the Pacers want Siakam in-house. They want him in-house when Halliburton comes back from his hamstring injuries so they can take off. I think the Raptors wanted to get Bruce Brown, who now could be retraded somewhere else. He's got an expiring contract. But it was also before you could get to the deadline where maybe the Sixers and the Warriors could have gotten involved. I think a shrewd move by the Pacers to close the deal now, because that's what people in the league were watching. I don't think Siakam's move will affect the title race, but I think it could have affected it if we had let it get closer to the deadline.
Well, I will say this, a couple of things. Number one, if you're Bruce Brown, hope that the Toronto Raptors buy you out and you can end up back in Denver, because I think that's where he belongs. I think that he would be in as a. I'm just saying that there you go. You know what I'm saying? So this dude showed up in the playoffs in the finals, so I like him. But let me say this about Pascal Siakam. I like him a lot. I know he's a 22-point per game scorer. He shoots better than 50% from the field. Not a great three-point shooter. We get that about him. I know he brings some offensive firepower. Is he affecting the balance power in the Eastern Conference? Hell no. That would be Boston, Milwaukee, and Philadelphia. I don't think he's affecting that for the Indiana Pacers. That's just my belief, even though Indiana has beaten Milwaukee 4 of the 5 times they've gone against them this year. And we saw Milwaukee last night without Giannis wet the bed in sleeping on Donovan Mitchell, because I love him and I wish he was in the New York Knicks uniform, but I'm just not sold on Cleveland. So could Indiana elevate itself to a top 5 or top 4 spot within the Eastern Conference, giving folks like the Knicks and the Miami Heat a run for their money? Okay, we can make that argument, but as far as the other guys, I don't see that making that much of a difference. Let me touch on your point about Siakam as a Philadelphia 76er. If you're talking about keeping Embiid, Maxey, and Tobias Harris with Siakam on that squad, I like that. I love the possibility of that. But I'm imagining that if you were to let go of him, somebody like if you were to lose him, somebody like Tobias Harris, somebody that you would get in return. I want to bring up the name Tobias Harris on national television for this reason, because I mentioned it on my podcast yesterday, the Stephen A. Smith Show. Let me say this. Tobias Harris